What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB, and I'm here today with the review for Zenkaiger episode number 14. All right, pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It was a good episode. Now, before we get into this episode review, if you guys are watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, do me that solid favor. Hit that subscribe button for me, guys. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the episode review. So this episode, it picked up where the last one left off. You guys remember in the last episode that Recycle World, he made the 4 other robots of, worlds that they had defeated. And they were able to kind of overpower the Zenkaigers and blow them away into the woods. And that's where they are. They pick up, they're in the woods. And you guys remember, in the last episode, Zox, he was able to defeat all 4 of the other worlds that they had previously defeated. And it just left Stacy, and Stacy defeated Recycle World. So now everything is returning back to normal. So Kaido and the others think that, hey, that was Zox who took care of everything. So then they find Zox and they're, giving their thanks and appreciation to Zox. And then they also presented him with each one of those gears they got. Remember, also in last week's episode, that Bara had gave, when they were turning the humans into the foot soldiers, that Bara gave them all individual Toji gears. Now remember, that Vroom informed us that those Toji gears, they were fakes. So once they got all the Toji gears, they presented them to Zox. Now, Zox, however, with the Toji gears, he doesn't look too fazed by it. He looks very displeased, to be quite honest with you. So then we see Zox, he's back on the ship, and Flint is talking to him. So Flint is asking Zox, what is he gonna do about this offer that Stacy gave to him? Now, we didn't see the offer that was presented to Zox via Stacy. So they do a flashback for us. So in the flashback, the offer was that if Zox was somehow able to defeat Zenkaiger, aka Kaido, then he would give him the gear that he is looking for. So Zox says, I don't want, don't give me the gear, take me to your palace so that way I can put my hands on it myself. So Stacy agrees. So that's what Flint was asking him, what is he gonna do about that? Is he gonna accept it? Is he not gonna accept it? And Zox like, it's a good offer, so he's thinking about it at this point. So also, like I said, with those Toji gears that, Kaido and the others presented it to Zox, Flint, Ricky, and Katana, they went through them, but all of those gears were, once again, fakes. So I'm going to pause here and let's one thing I will say, the theme song, it's very catchy. I love it. I love the theme song. So let's talk about Zox. So Zox, he's over at the candy shop. He's talking to the other Zenkaigers as well as Kaido's grandmother. So he's telling them that he needs to duel with Kaido. Now, Grandma, as well as, Jurin, Majin, Vroom, and Gowan, they're all saying for Kaido not to do this duel with Zox. But Kaido wants to do the duel. I'm like, interesting that Kaido wants to do the duel. But it makes sense to me why Kaido said he wants to do the duel, because Kaido is all about helping people. And we know what Zox's ultimate plan is. Zox wants to get the Esditopia world so that way he could turn Ricky and Katana back into their humanoid forms. So, like I said, Kaido is all for it. Everyone else, not so much. Now, at the Toji Tendo Palace, we see Bara. Bara is upset with Ijiru because, remember, like I said a few minutes ago, that in last week's episode, remember when they called on the 4 worlds that had been previously defeated? Remember, Stacy only defeated Recycle World. Zox defeated the other 4, but Bara is upset about Stacy defeating Recycle World and taking down his troops, basically. Ijiru is playing like, I don't know what, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I had nothing to do with that. That was all Stacy. So Bara tells Ijiru basically, in a nutshell, stick to what you're good at. I'm like, oh, okay, feeling it. So now it is time for the duel to begin between Zox and Kaido. And they're definitely dueling. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So it's a battle of who's going to win. You know, you got one side rooting for Kaido. You got the other side rooting for Zox. And the other side being Katana, Ricky, and Flint. And on, like I said, for the other side, for Kaido, it is Vroom, Majin, Gowan, and Jiren. You know, I hope at some point we go deeper into Gowan and understand why Gowan has such a dislike, a disdain for his own kind. You know, you kind of see it in real life when it comes to different ethnic groups. They have, you know, people who don't necessarily care for their own groups. But I'm interested for them to go deeper into that storyline because I still don't understand what he has such an issue with the Kikanoids for. So, like I said, Zox and Kaido, they're dueling, and they're using different, they're using their different gears to battle each other. So Zox calls on the power of, which Sentai was that? Q Ranger. I think that's the season that everyone always tells them. You know, I have people who ask me what season do I want to see, adapted in the U.S. if we stick with Super Sentai. And, a lot of people say that they would like to see Q Ranger. But then you have people who say with Q Ranger there were a lot of Rangers, so they automatically think about Dino Supercharge and how underutilized certain Rangers were in Dino Supercharge. So they wonder if that'll be a continuing thing. Now for me, as far as a Super Sentai, and I know I'm going off topic, but for me a Super Sentai that I definitely want to see adapted is Dobu Sentai, Zyuohger. I would love to see Zyuohger. I love those suits, honestly. I love the Zyuohger suits. Something very interesting about them. And for me, since I'm a huge fan of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, I would love for that to tie in somehow to Lost Galaxy because it just looks, the way that they look, and from some of the footage that I saw, it would give you a Lost Galaxy feel. So if it's an animal theme, then it could be on a distant planet of Miranoi. But yeah, so he used the power of the Q Ranger to grow. Now the one thing that I will say I like about this season and this show in particular is when it comes to the battles and battling. I love that Sichin is always in Kaido's ear, telling him which gear to use, and I'm like, he'll tell him use such and such Super Sentai, and then he'll tell you about that Super Sentai because for me, my first season of Super Sentai that I actually really got into is Ryusoulger. Now I did go actually in the 2000s I was able to watch some, but it wasn't dubbed. They are really loud upstairs. So yeah, my first Super Sentai that I actually when I first noticed about Super Sentai, I noticed it with Gingaman. That was actually the very first Sentai that I knew about. Gingaman. Then I Go-Go 5, Gown Ranger. Now after that, I kind of fell off, but I knew about them. And then the very first one that I can say that I sat and watched a full episode of was, what was the first Sentai that I sat and watched a full episode? I watched the first episode of Shinkenger, and I watched the first episode of Gokaiger. Those were the first. So really it was Gokaiger, but then I went back to Shinkenger. Yeah, that was it. But my first full series was Ryusoulger. But back to the show. Like I said, I do like the fact that Sichin tells you about them. That is one thing that I definitely do like. So, Sichin told Kaido to use the Maskman for the aura power. So Zox, he has his blaster. He's grown, he's grown skyscraper style. He has his blaster pointed right at Kaido, and boom, he blasts him. So everybody else is upset, just thinking, oh my God, Kaido was gone. Like, what are we gonna do at this point? So then Stacy appears. When Stacy appeared, that's when Flint and Zox knew that Stacy had played them. But what Stacy didn't count on was the fact that they actually played him, that Kaido was not defeated. They just tricked him to make him believe. And I'm like, that was a good one. That was a good one. But let's move on and wrap it, guys. So to wrap the episode up, Stacy transformed as well as Kaido and the others as well as Zox. So the others, which is Vroom, Majin, Gowan, and Jiren, they're battling with the foot soldiers. Meanwhile, Zox and Kaido are battling with Stacy. It's interesting, right? The humanistic ones are battling each other. The humanoids are battling each other, and the Kikanoids are battling with each other. So Zox and, like I said, Zox and Kaido, they're fighting with Stacy. So you guys remember, Stacy with his gear, he's able to kind of, when he cranes his up and blasts, he has the full team. He doesn't have a spirit of the team jump into him. He actually has the team itself. Now the team that he was using, they completely knocked Kaido out. So it was just, Zox and Stacy at this point, and his, the ones that he called on. So then Vroom got a message from Seichen, and Seichen told Vroom to tell Zox to use Big One. So that's what he did. I have to look at that comment just a minute. So yeah, he used that one. So Big One, he has his, I guess that was like a not a scepter. What is that? Baton. That is a baton. That was a baton he had. And he controlled Stacy's people, Stacy's gears, and they attacked him to the point that he had to blast them. So then Stacy, when it realized he was outnumbered, he called on his mech. So the others telling Kaido, hey Kaido, it's time for us to transform. And Zox was like, nope, I got this. Let me handle it. So he calls on his mech. So he and his mech, he uses both the Katana form and the Ricky form to battle with Stacy. He ultimately defeats Stacy's mech, but not Stacy. I'm like, pretty cool. I will say one thing about that scene with them battling, the agility that the mechs had, A+ in my book. Enjoyed it, loved it. I was like, oh wow, and it was a scene at night, pretty cool. But yeah, that's the review, guys. Please let me know what you guys think about the episode. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell button, and that'll be it. Now, I'll see you guys again on probably Friday night or Saturday. Not really sure, because there is a Fan First Friday this week. And then next week, we will have the 3 new episodes of Power Rangers Dino Fury. So I'll be back for those as well. All right, you guys. So that's it. And I hope you guys have a great one. Stay safe out there. Please take care of yourselves. Remember, wash hands, wear your mask. If not, whatever you do, just be safe in doing so. And I'll see you guys in the next one.